In the vast, cold expanse of space, the Galactic Confederation's reconnaissance ship drifted silently near Earth's solar system. Commander Coral Vreen sat in his command chair, his scaled fingers tapping against the holographic display. Scattered, reports about a small blue planet had been trickling in for decades, but nobody took them seriously. Earth looked unremarkable. Primitive radio signals, crude satellite networks, divided political systems. Just another insignificant species struggling to understand its own existence. "Scan the planet again," Vreen ordered his junior officer, Lyra. Her tentacle-like appendages moved quickly across the control panel. Holographic images flickered. Cities, technological structures, military installations. "Nothing special," Lyra reported. "Basic nuclear technology, rudimentary space exploration, no advanced weapon systems detected." Vreen chuckled, a harsh sound that echoed through the ship's metallic corridors. His species had conquered hundreds of civilizations. This would be another simple acquisition. Unbeknownst to the alien observers, something was happening on Earth. In a small research facility in South Korea, Kim Jae-sung reviewed the strange data patterns. He had been tracking unusual electromagnetic signals for months. Jae-sung was different from typical researchers. Where others saw random noise, he saw potential patterns. His team consisted of brilliant misfits, engineers, mathematicians, and former military strategists who believed something extraordinary was happening. "Look at these transmission frequencies," he said to Park Soo-jin, his closest colleague. Her eyes narrowed, studying the complex mathematical representations dancing across multiple screens. "These aren't random," Soo-jin muttered. "These are structured, deliberately complex." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden burst of data. An encrypted signal, unlike anything they had seen before, swept through their monitoring systems. It lasted merely milliseconds, but left an intricate digital fingerprint. Across the world, similar research teams were experiencing the same phenomenon. In underground labs, secret military installations, and private research centers, experts were piecing together an incredible puzzle. Commander Vreen's ship continued its silent observation. Standard protocols dictated minimal interaction. Their mission was simple: assess, categorize, and prepare potential colonization strategies. But something was different about this planet. Jae-sung's team began developing specialized algorithms to decode the mysterious signals. They worked in shifts, consuming excessive amounts of coffee and energy drinks. Their computers hummed with unprecedented computational power. "We're being watched," Jae-sung said quietly one evening. "Not by humans, but by something else entirely." The alien ship maintained its standard observation pattern. Sensors continuously scanned the planet's surface, recording everything from atmospheric composition to technological infrastructure. What they didn't realize was that every scan, every transmission, every moment of observation was being carefully recorded and analyzed by human intelligence networks. Lyra, the junior officer, noticed something peculiar. "Commander, our communication frequencies are being echoed back. Not directly, but in complex reflection patterns." Vreen dismissed her observation. "Impossible. These are primitive beings." But deep within Earth's research facilities, teams were already developing methods to understand, intercept, and potentially manipulate alien communication technologies. First contact was happening, not through dramatic landings or spectacular battles, but through silent, calculated digital exchanges. Humans were learning, adapting, and preparing in ways the Galactic Confederation could never anticipate. As the alien ship continued its reconnaissance, it remained blissfully unaware that its every move was being studied, decoded, and understood by the very species they considered insignificant. Jae-sung looked at his team and smiled. "They have no idea what's coming." The research facility buzzed with nervous energy. Park Soo-jin stood before a wall of complex monitors, her fingers moving rapidly across holographic interfaces. Fragments of alien technology lay scattered across examination tables, small devices recovered through careful interception and strategic retrieval. Months had passed since the initial alien reconnaissance. While the Galactic Confederation believed they were simply observing, human teams were doing something far more dangerous. Learning. "We're breaking through," Su-Jin whispered to her colleague, Kim Jae-sung. The first alien communication module they had managed to partially decode was revealing incredible secrets. Their method was simple yet brilliant. Instead of trying to understand everything at once, they isolated specific technological patterns. Communication protocols, energy transfer, mechanisms, quantum encryption techniques. Each breakthrough came with extraordinary risks. One wrong move could alert the alien observers. Stealth and precision were their greatest weapons. The first major breakthrough happened unexpectedly. A seemingly random communication burst contained complex quantum encryption that, when carefully analyzed, revealed intricate technological blueprints. Not just communication protocols, but hints of advanced propulsion systems and energy generation technologies. Military, research teams worked alongside civilian scientists. They understood that this was more than a technological challenge. This was about survival. Across different research centers, similar teams were making comparable discoveries. In a hidden facility in the United States, a group of engineers was already reconstructing alien communication algorithms. In Japan, quantum computing experts were developing adaptive systems that could potentially mimic and understand alien technological languages. Su-Jin's team discovered something remarkable. The alien communication systems weren't just transmission methods. They were complex, living networks. Each transmission carried multiple layers of information, like biological neural networks. "They don't just communicate," she explained to her team. "Their technology is alive. It adapts. It learns." This discovery changed everything. Humans weren't just trying to understand alien technology. They were learning to speak its language. Global governments, usually divided, found unexpected unity. Military budgets were redirected. Top minds from different countries were brought together. National boundaries seemed meaningless in the face of this potential threat. The alien reconnaissance ship continued its mission, completely unaware that its own technologies were being systematically dissected, understood, and potentially weaponized. Small breakthroughs became significant achievements. A communication module that once seemed incomprehensible was now yielding sophisticated technological insights. Energy transfer mechanisms that appeared magical were being reduced to understandable scientific principles. Jae-sung understood the psychological element of their work. It wasn't just about technological adaptation. It was about showing that humans could be more than what the aliens perceived them to be. "We're not just learning their technology," he told his team during a late-night strategy meeting. "We're learning how they think." Each decoded signal brought new understanding: alien defensive systems, communication protocols, even glimpses into their cultural and strategic thinking. The most significant breakthrough came when they realized the aliens' technological networks had inherent weaknesses. They were sophisticated but predictable. They followed logical patterns that could be anticipated, manipulated, and potentially exploited. Su-Jin's team developed the first adaptive quantum algorithm capable of not just understanding alien communication but potentially infiltrating their networks. It was a technological marvel that would have been considered impossible just months earlier. The global scientific community watched in quiet amazement. What was happening wasn't just technological research, it was a species-level response to a potential existential threat. Military strategists began integrating these technological insights into defensive and potentially offensive strategies. Each decoded signal was a potential weapon. Each understood protocol a possible defensive mechanism. As the alien ship continued its seemingly passive observation, human teams were preparing. They weren't just learning, they were transforming. The technological adaptation was more than a scientific achievement. It was a statement. Humans would not be passive observers in their own cosmic story. Something extraordinary was brewing. And the aliens had no idea what was coming. Lee Dong-hyuk stared at the massive digital wall, his eyes reflecting complex strategic simulations. The room hummed with quiet intensity, filled with analysts who understood something profound. Information could be a weapon more powerful than any missile. The Galactic Confederation believed they were watching Earth. In reality, Earth was watching them. Psychological warfare wasn't about destruction. It was about creating doubt, uncertainty, confusion. Dong Hyuk's team had discovered something remarkable about the alien communication networks. They weren't just transmission systems, they were living, breathing information ecosystems vulnerable to carefully crafted disruptions. The first strategic manipulation began subtly. Small information packets were deliberately leaked. False communication signals that seemed authentic but carried strategic misinformation. Each transmission was crafted like a precise mathematical equation designed to create microscopic fractures in alien strategic thinking. In the alien command structure, uncertainty started spreading like a virus. Reports began circulating about potential internal conflicts. Fabricated communication suggested rebellious factions within different alien, planetary systems, strategic disagreements, resource allocation conflicts, leadership challenges. The beauty of their approach was simplicity. They didn't create complete fabrications. They amplified existing tensions, found tiny cracks in the alien confederations, communication networks, and slowly, carefully expanded those cracks. Alien intelligence teams began spending more time investigating internal potential conflicts than monitoring Earth. Each false signal was designed to look authentic, carrying just enough truth to be believable. Quantum computing teams worked alongside psychological warfare experts. They understood that modern warfare wasn't about direct confrontation. It was about controlling narrative, perception. Sujin's technological breakthroughs provided the perfect platform. Her adaptive algorithms could now not just understand alien communications, but could generate strategic misinformation that was virtually undetectable. The first major success came when they successfully planted information suggesting potential rebellion in 3 different alien planetary systems. Communication networks buzzed with suspicion. Military resources were redirected. Potential invasion plans were delayed. Dong Hyuk watched the global strategic map. Red indicators representing alien fleet movements began showing unexpected patterns. Confusion. Hesitation. "We're not fighting them," he told his team. "We're making them fight themselves." Global intelligence agencies collaborated in ways never seen before. Americans shared data with Chinese researchers. European analysts worked alongside teams from India and Brazil. The potential alien threat had created an unprecedented human unity. Each strategic manipulation was carefully calculated. They weren't trying to provoke direct conflict. They were creating an environment of constant uncertainty. Alien leadership meetings became increasingly tense. Suspicion replaced confidence. Strategic plans were continuously revised. Resources were diverted to internal investigations. The psychological warfare was working perfectly. Humans were transforming from a seemingly primitive species to a strategic nightmare. Intercepted alien communications revealed growing frustration. Their reconnaissance missions were producing conflicting data. Earth seemed simultaneously weak and mysteriously complex. Dong Hyuk's team understood the psychological principle: the most dangerous enemy is the one you cannot understand. They leaked technological hints, incomplete but tantalizing information about potential human capabilities, just enough to create maximum uncertainty. The alien confederation's strategic confidence began crumbling. What seemed like a simple planetary acquisition was transforming into a complex, unpredictable challenge. Military strategists around the world watched in quiet amazement. Humans were fighting a war without firing a single weapon. The battlefield was information. The weapon was perception. As alien fleet movements became increasingly erratic, human teams continued their precise, calculated psychological manipulation. Each transmission was a surgical strike against alien strategic thinking. The most powerful weapon wasn't technology. It was the ability to make an advanced civilization doubt its own capabilities. Earth wasn't preparing for war. It was already winning. And the aliens had no idea. Choi Min-hee's hands moved like lightning across quantum computing interfaces. The research facility felt different, charged with an electricity that went beyond technological potential. This was about survival. Alien. Technology fragments lay carefully arranged on pristine white surfaces. Each piece was a puzzle, a potential key to humanity's future. Min-Hee understood something most researchers didn't. These weren't just machine parts. They were living technological ecosystems. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. A quantum algorithm that could predict and counter alien strategic systems. Not just understand them, but actively manipulate them. Her team worked in absolute secrecy. Global governments had consolidated resources, understanding that this was humanity's most critical, technological moment. No single nation could claim victory. This was a human endeavor. Quantum computing met artificial intelligence in ways never imagined. Min-Hee's systems could now learn, adapt, and predict alien technological movements faster than the aliens could comprehend. The first successful test happened on a quiet Tuesday morning. Their adaptive AI system successfully penetrated and redirected an alien communication network without leaving any traceable signatures. It was like a ghost moving through technological walls. "We're not just learning," Min-Hee told her closest colleague. "We're becoming something they cannot understand." Faster-than-light travel technologies emerged from unexpected combinations. Quantum entanglement principles merged with alien propulsion fragment studies. What seemed impossible became potential reality. Military researchers watched in silent amazement. Each breakthrough wasn't just a technological achievement, it was a statement of human potential. The adaptive AI systems developed by Min-Hee's team could now do something extraordinary. They could simulate entire alien strategic scenarios millions of times per second, predicting movements, understanding weaknesses, creating counter-strategies before the aliens could even conceptualize them. Global research centers worked in synchronized harmony. A quantum researcher in Tokyo would share a breakthrough with a team in Berlin within milliseconds. Collaborative. Technologies transformed scientific development. Alien reconnaissance systems began detecting strange technological signatures, impossible computational speeds, communication patterns that defied their understanding. Humanity was no longer a predictable, primitive species. Min-Hee's most significant achievement was an adaptive quantum network that could essentially think like an alien technological system, but with human creativity. It wasn't just mimicry, it was evolution. Military strategists realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. Humans weren't just developing defense mechanisms. They were creating entirely new technological paradigms. The first experimental faster-than-light drive was tested in absolute secrecy. When successful, it represented more than a technological achievement. It was a declaration of human potential. Alien communication networks started experiencing unexplained disruptions. Strategic systems became increasingly unreliable. What they thought was a simple planetary observation was transforming into a complex technological nightmare. Min-Hee understood the psychological element of technological development. It wasn't just about creating advanced systems. It was about demonstrating capability that went beyond traditional understanding. Her team developed AI systems that could generate millions of strategic scenarios simultaneously. Each scenario was a potential pathway, a possible technological solution. The computational power was beyond anything the aliens had encountered. Global scientific communities watched in quiet excitement. Humanity was no longer responding to a potential threat. They were actively reshaping the technological landscape. The breakthrough wasn't just technological. It was evolutionary. Alien leadership began receiving increasingly confusing reports. A species they had considered primitive was demonstrating technological capabilities that defied comprehension. Min-Hee looked at her team. They weren't just researchers anymore. They were humanity's first line of cosmic defense. "We're ready," she whispered. The technological transformation was complete. Humanity had not just adapted. They had evolved, and the universe was about to discover what humans were truly capable of achieving. Kim Yu-bin stood on the bridge of humanity's first interstellar battleship. The vessel hummed with quantum energy, a technological marvel that would have seemed impossible just months earlier. Outside the massive viewing window, stars stretched like electric threads against the infinite darkness. The alien Confederation's fleet approached, massive ships that had conquered countless civilizations. They looked impressive, powerful, unbeatable. They had no idea what was coming. Yubin's communication systems were unlike anything in known space. Developed from years of reverse-engineered alien technologies and human quantum computing, they could predict and counter alien strategic movements before those movements even began. The first wave of alien ships launched their attack. Massive, energy weapons that had destroyed entire planetary systems in the past. But something was different this time. Human defensive systems absorbed the energy, redirected it, transformed potential destruction into strategic advantage. Alien commanders watched in growing horror. Their most powerful weapons were being turned against them, not just blocked, transformed. Yubin's team had prepared for years. Every alien communication, every technological fragment, every intercepted signal had been carefully studied. They weren't just defending, they were dismantling an entire civilization's strategic understanding. Quantum adaptive AI systems controlled human defense mechanisms. They could predict alien weapon trajectories with impossible precision. Each alien attack was already calculated, countered, neutralized before it could fully form. The space battle looked like a complex dance. Human, ships moved with unprecedented grace. They weren't just fighting. They were demonstrating a level of strategic thinking that the alien Confederation couldn't comprehend. Alien communication networks began experiencing total systemic failures. False signals, redirected strategic commands, complete technological confusion. What had seemed like a simple planetary conquest was transforming into a complete systemic collapse. Human ships used technologies that defied traditional understanding: energy redirection systems, quantum entanglement communication, adaptive shield technologies that could change molecular structures in milliseconds. The alien fleet, once considered unbeatable, started experiencing total systemic failures. Ships that had conquered entire star systems were now being systematically disabled. Yubin understood something profound. This wasn't just a military confrontation. This was a demonstration of human potential. Alien leadership communication channels revealed growing panic. Their most advanced strategic systems were being completely overwhelmed. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were systematically destroying the alien Confederation's entire technological infrastructure. Each human ship carried adaptive AI systems that could learn and counter alien technologies faster than the aliens, could develop new strategies. It was like watching a supercomputer play chess against a child. The battle lasted less than 3 standard hours. When it ended, the alien Confederation's fleet was completely destroyed, not through brute force, through intelligent, calculated technological superiority. Yubin watched the final alien command ship drift powerlessly. No massive explosions, no dramatic destruction, just complete technological submission. Global communication channels erupted in quiet celebration. No dramatic cheering, just a collective understanding that humanity had just transformed its cosmic status. The alien Confederation's leadership requested communication. Surrender was their only option. Yubin's response was simple: "We're ready to talk." The universe had just witnessed something unprecedented. A supposedly primitive species had not just defended itself. It had demonstrated a level of technological and strategic thinking that rewrote every known galactic understanding. Humanity wasn't just surviving, they were evolving, and this was just the beginning.